as we go through the session, please keep posting your questions in the chat. We will be taking a few questions in the middle of the session and we'll be taking most of them towards the end. But throw in good questions and we'll be sure to take them. Guys, this is your one-stop chance to meet your alums in person almost. The most we could do was virtually, and talk to them. Ask them the real questions that you are feeling and facing right now. You are not being judged here. We are just trying to help you guys through this process in the current situation. So feel free, ask silly questions. I always encourage my audience to ask as many silly questions as possible. Just try and clear your doubts. Be anxiety free. Start your MBA with a mind full of positivity, because the world will start getting better. In the industry is getting better. So do not have these fears. Please feel free to come and address your fears. And guys, now we'll begin the session without much ado. And my first set of questions will revolve around life at IMI Delhi. Like, what is it about IMI Delhi which is so special? Like, I've had a blast interacting with people from IMI Delhi. So my question goes to Akarsh. I have heard that you had 9 calls, 9 MBA B schools were calling you, and you chose IMI Delhi. So can you tell us why? Why was that conscious decision made?
So I was among those guys who fall in that in between, what do you call, score. I had 93 percentile in CAT. So a 90 to 95, the set of colleges you guys in IMT, IMI, a couple of symbiosis, right? IIT, if you have that in the back, and you have GIM, TAFE, and all these colleges, you have all of that. So I had all of those converted. And then I was quite clear that I wanted to go ahead with marketing. And between all the calls that I had, I went through the faculty profiles, you know, the rich experience they bring in, the kind of pedagogy that goes on in teaching at IMI, and also the different colleges that I had. And all of it, I found IMI having a slight edge over the others, you know, right in terms of the quality of faculty profile that we're looking at. The batch strength at IMI versus the rest of the colleges that were there was also on the lesser side, and even the placements, you know, when I look at it from a marketing angle, the list of companies that were coming on campus with that kind of batch strength, I thought I would land myself a good shot if I get myself into the school. So those are thoughts that went behind picking IMI over the rest. And yeah, whatever I thought with, I'll enter the B school, and I was happy to exit with whatever I thought I'll achieve. So quite happy with the experience at IMI, guys. Yeah.
Thanks, Akash. I am sure that now that we look back at our decisions of choosing these schools, we realize that our choice was actually a perfect reflection of where we should have been. And I can totally see that in your answer as well. So all the folks joining IMI, you guys know you guys have made a brilliant choice. So now my next question goes out to Aditya. How was life, like basic life at IMI Delhi, and what is so special about being at IMI Delhi? If you could share some anecdotes of IMI per se, what will be those?
Sure. So firstly, unlike Akarsh, I had just one call from, and that was just IMI. So it was never a selection. It was always the first choice for me. Life IMI, like, believe me, you guys will be hearing this over the 2 course from all the alums, from all the industry professionals that you guys meet. These are going to be the best 2 years of your life, irrespective of where you land up after summer, where you land up after placement. All you guys will regret is this 2 years of your life where you had fun, you made n number of friends. That is the best part about IMI and any other college, for example. And IMI, as you guys would be aware, that it's not a very, very large campus, unlike other B schools, but it's a very concise, compact campus. Everyone knows everyone. The faculties knows you. You can reach out to the faculties. You can reach out to your seniors. It's a very cohesive, good learning environment there. Talking about the fun part, you have seniors which take you out to parties, which will make you guys enjoy the learning aspect to it as well. And of course, like, help you through your career progression, guide you wherever it's required. So it's like a complete package of 2 years there, which will set you guys for the longer course of your professional journeys.
Right, Aditya. And for the batch sitting at home, I know they're raring to go to college and party with the seniors and party with the batchmates, and that too in Delhi. Like, who doesn't like the nightlife of Delhi? Tell me if I'm wrong. So yeah, guys, you guys will get a chance. I mean, students, hold your horses. They'll be very soon, maybe 3-4 months, and you'll be back to campus hopefully. So and then you can have that party life and have the life at IMI Delhi. But now my this question actually relates to what I'm going to ask Ipshita next. That you have seen the best and the worst, Ipshita. You were 1 year in college, physically doing your studies in the real world, and then suddenly you were told one year of your college went in online studies and online MBA. So can you tell us how that experience was? Offline versus online, real versus virtual. How was that like?
I think Aditya was just talking about destiny. I don't think more than 2021 batch anybody knows about destiny. So for 1 year, we were in campus, we had our events there, we had friends, we had memories, we had parties, etc. And then suddenly one day the college asked us to go back home, and then we never went back. And really, I could say it was a cakewalk and we learned and stuff, but it was really difficult, I think, even emotionally. And we were the batch who were losing internships. We were the batch for the ones who had the internships alive, we had to start internships virtually. We had to come back and do online classes, which was unheard of. So I think we did go through a lot of hardships. Uh, but I mean, we didn't have a choice, because what choice do you have when the world is going through something so difficult? But I think the way we've been able to deal with it is, a good approach would be to say, count your lessons and your blessings. So maybe, we amongst our batch, we talk about this, that the kind of resilience and adaptation that COVID has built for us, the way it accelerated technology, the increased focus now on mental and physical well-being, that does count for something, And when you people, when this batch will join, you will probably have your second year in campus. So COVID will get better and your situation will get better. However, the resilience you built and the kind of adaptability you built, that will stay on with you for much longer. And I think that's what crisis does. It makes people aware of what they can do when they come together, and it makes people aware of how much you really can push yourself. And I remember when the 2022 batch, when they joined college, we as seniors, we gave them a whole 2 week induction program online. We made sure they went through every detail about college. We showed them pictures, showed them videos. We kind of did our best. And I think when you people join after spending, say, 1 year online, and yeah, that's about that.
So, Ash, I think Ipshita, what you mentioned was that it taught you a lot of things, resilience and adaptability, and that is what MBA is about. It is about surviving any situation, no matter how much pressure is put on us. And I think that is what this batch will also learn. This is the most important lesson an MBA can give you. So all of you hearing out there, make the most of what you have in hand. MBA will only teach you life. And I just want to tell you all that the first 3 months of an MBA life is very grueling. And you guys should be considering yourself very lucky that your alums are coming and telling you what to do, what not to do. So my next question goes out to Akarsh and Aashanaa. That how grueling you think the first 3 months of MBA are, and how do we cope with that pressure? How do we go through it, survive through it? And also, if you could mention some funny incidents that happened with you during your first 3 months, and what you faced and how you overcame that, because that would be very, very important for the students who are listening to us.
Okay, so first 3 months, you guys land up, all of you are equally lost. All of us are equally clueless. We're all in the same boat, okay? Figuring shit out over there, how it's gonna work out. You don't know anybody over there. Everyone comes from different cities. And some people who've lived in hostels might have experienced this, but people are going to live in hostels for the first time. It's going to be a different experience altogether. You are mess food sucks across. So it's someone who lived in hostels will know that. So you will come to terms with that. A lot of people, especially me, I lost a lot of weight in my first 3 months. Okay. My mom was very unhappy about that, but then I lost a lot of weight, couldn't do much. Uh, you know, there are all your interviews of your clubs and committees start off, all the pitching starts first 3 months. you are coming to terms with what a trimester is. While we've all been a semester system, we move into a trimester system. Before you realize it's midterm and before you realize it's over, right? So, and then I remember my first trimester had about 9 subjects, and I mean, it was just everything was a little overwhelming. Leave a B school, you get thrown into a managerial role and you are bombarded with difficult situations. You are a manager because somebody is not able to solve that situation and therefore you are there, right? So it is like you are coordinating with multiple teams, multiple cross-functional teams, internal teams. This is what your first 3 months will teach you. You are firefighting everything. You have an assignment which has to go out early morning. You have to be alert on your emails. You start realizing what emails are. They just pop up and you just have to be alert of the deadlines. There will be, what do you call, I don't know, not in the first 3 months, but there will be summer internship EOIs coming across. I mean, you need to be alert, just apply on time. So a lot of it you will see, right? You will have overnight clubs and committees interviews stretching up to early morning, and then you have a 8:30 a.m. class that you can't miss because attendance has marks as well. So everything, it's a lot of emotions you all go through, but since everybody starts off at the same level, you all learn together, and that's where everybody bonds. And that's why friends that you make in MBA, the real friends that you make in MBA, they last with you because you go through the difficult part and learning all together. Yeah.
Thanks, Akash. I think Akash has already, beautifully captured the 3 months of initial MBA. Definitely, that is the entire overwhelming experience that you have in the initial 3 months. I think that is the first challenge you face as an MBA student, whether you are going to stick around for 2 years or not. So I clearly remember the first week, there were clubs, there were, committees, interviews going on. There was academics. There was so much knowing your seniors and just trying to make a place for yourself on the campus. And first week for me, I was like, I'll not be able to do it. I have to pack my bags and I'll have to go back home. It's too overwhelming for me. But that is the first challenge you get as an MBA student. You take it and sail through it. And the entire experience, the entire first 3 months is definitely grilling. And it's a make or a break thing. You actually decide your own path, whether you want to be really active during your MBA journey or you want to be in a laid back manner. So for me, I was super active. I had clubs, I had academics, I was taking part in competitions also. So initially it was all like about functioning, on bare minimum sleep, and then eventually I got used to it. And I think most of us got used to it, that we can function around with 3 to 4 hours of sleep, because even if we had the option of sleep, we would choose to sit with friends at the amphitheater, talk about life, discuss about startup ideas and stuff. So definitely the first 3 months are very grilling, but it's your choice how you want to pave your own MBA path. Yeah.
So yeah, definitely I think what you guys spoke, and I'm sure the new batch would be like, हम कब amphitheater पे बैठ के बात करेंगे, guys करोगे, soon करोगे तुम लोग भी बैठ के बातें करोगे amphitheater पे, and I know that all of this is sounding very exciting, and it's going to happen very very soon. So guys, moving on to our next bit, which is going to be about summer internships. Like the biggest reasons that we all look forward to our first year is our summers. So I want you all to throw a little bit light on the summer placements in IMI Delhi, because I think that's the most juicy bit, our audience is waiting to listen to. So guys, my first question goes to Aditya and Aashanaa. You guys are from different batches. Very recently, Aashanaa has joined in the industry recently, and Aditya has been there for some time. What was the strategy for your summer internships, and what did you do to prepare for summer internships? Guys, these are very important questions. Please pay heed here. These questions is what will make or break your summers, and that is really, really important. So, guys, yeah, Akash and Aditya and Ashna, did you apply for all companies that visited, or you had already decided your specialization that you wanted to pursue and you only went for those? So, what was exactly your strategy like, guys? Over to you.
So I was through like did my BCom honors, was pursuing CA, so always had that bug for finance. So it was always a natural choice for me to apply for finance jobs. That was what I kept in my mind during applying for summer internships. So I'll just take you guys through what happens and how it happens. So June was when I started my IMI journey, and by September, the EOIs and the company started to visit. So within these 3 months, within the assignments, activities, and everything going on, you guys don't get a lot of time to prepare. Many of you guys will be learning accounting for the first time, and for some, it's very overwhelming. So you will be learning a lot of things, but you guys have to keep in mind. How did I prepare? So I have been reading newspapers for about 10 years or so right now. So I have been doing that previously as well. It just takes 15 minutes of my time, but I used to do that. It was a hobby for me back then, and I have been just continuing it. So it kept me up to date of what is going on in the market. It is what is going on in the world per se. So in the summer internship, you guys won't be asked in general, like, what is this financial concept or what is this marketing concept? Give me an example where you use this, because everyone knows that you guys are applying for a 2 months internship, which is basically a learning process for you guys. So the best idea would be just know what you guys want to apply for to the campus. Don't be too choosy as to I will apply for that company, because shortlisting is not within your hands. It is usually done by the companies, and no one knows what is the criteria. So don't be very choosy, but be very mindful of where you want to land up. I'll just give a separate example. Like, you might have different internships, but you might land up in where you want to. So a guy from a younger batch, is a girl from a younger batch who was doing HR, got a opportunity in a serious marketing company, Sony or some other company, I do not remember the name of, which is like unheard, and she was doing the marketing role, and then she moved on to a different role. So you guys can go on to different roles. Like, I wanted a finance role, but I was given into a IT audit. But my job was to perform there to get a PPO. So many people got a PPO on the basis of what they wanted to do. You get a PPO for the company. You might change into different roles into the company, but your job is to perform wherever you get the opportunity.
Absolutely. Ashna, anything you'd like to add? Your strategy, because your strategy was very different from what usually people have. People usually apply to all companies and try their luck, but you actually had a strategy. So can you like tell us about that?
Sure, Unnati. So I'll, start with saying that there are two ways to look at things. One is the kind of people who are sure of what they want to do in life. The other kind of people are who are sure what they don't want to do in life. So I fell into the second part. I knew I did not want to do finance because coming from the CA background, being in the finance industry for 5 years, I just knew finance was not my cup of tea. And marketing was not something that really excited me. So HR was a true natural inclination for me. And since it was a specialization, so while applying for companies, it just, I did not have that challenge to choose a specialization. But talking about the preparations part, again, I was a fresher. So I knew that most of the questions that would come would be related to my CV only. And few could be from the subject domain. So what I did, my strategy was that definitely I did brush up on the things that were taught in class, actively started reading newspapers so that, I could be participative in the GD. But I think that the main strategy that worked for me was that I broke my entire CV into different questions. Basically, I started thinking from the point of view of a recruiter, and I started thinking that if this CV was given to me, what all questions would I would like to ask this person? And accordingly, I started framing the questions and the answers. And I did everything on a Google document and not on a notebook because, Google document, you can access it even while you're just outside the interview room. Again, like, Unnati mentioned, I did wait very patiently to get placed. I was in fact one of the last few students to get my final placements, in spite of having a very good, academic background in IMI. I actually got a merit scholarship, but still I chose not to apply for companies because I had that conscious thought in my mind that this is going to be a very life changing decision for me, and I want to not be the person who actually gets placed first in the campus, but actually a person who's satisfied with the role and the kind of job they're doing further in the life. So my strategy was, again, fell into the second bucket where I knew what I did not want. So accordingly, I made that shortlisting of the companies of which I was sure that, I actually don't want, and I did not apply for those companies. So I was left with the companies that were open for me and, that might be of my interest area. And accordingly, one which fit the best role for me, I applied for that. And I'm so happy I actually patiently waited for my role. And I'm super satisfied right now, where I am in life. So, yeah.
So definitely, Ashna, I mean, I get where you're coming from, that we should choose our roles wisely, we should choose our companies wisely, prepare for them very, very well. We should know in and out about the company, about the role.
Yeah.
We definitely talk to the people who have been recruited into that company from our campus. So these are some of the tips that we should definitely all follow, and we'll all be in good stead to get good placements. But I want you to tell us something about how does an HR, like since you are an HR and you work in that field, how does an HR shortlist any student, HR of any company, marketing, finance, HR? How do they shortlist a student, and what are the factors which influence shortlisting? And do freshers have more advantage than people with experience during summers?
Thanks for throwing me under the bus, Unnati. But talking about, I think every role requires a different set of skills. So I can't really say someone has an advantage over someone else. There might be a role that requires someone with the experience, prior work experience. So the shortlisting criteria becomes that. And there have been companies that have come up to the campus with a very specific set of requirements. For example, they wanted a female who has a background of computer science. So that becomes the set of skills. It entirely depends on the profile that the company is coming for, and based on that, the shortlisting criteria is done. But yeah, talking about on the other side of the table, I think one thing that I would like to clarify for others is that nobody expects you to achieve everything in life and be a very big success story. The most important thing for any interview is that how good you are at communication. Again, the entire communication is not all about your English speaking abilities, but the fact that how good you are at articulating your thoughts and sending across the right message. So if you are able to communicate yourself, I think you have already won 50% of the battle. And another thing would be, whatever decisions you're making, whether right or wrong, at that point of time, you should have that clarity in your thought process that I made this decision because I thought of that. So that clarity is there, that instantly attracts as a recruiter, because that makes us think that, okay, we all make mistakes, but at least that person has that clarity in thought that I did something because I felt this is the reason behind it, this is the logical process about it. So those are the two things I think, everybody should keep in mind.
So, guys, this is very important what Ashna is saying. Please keep in mind when you're going for interviews or you're writing down, you're filling out forms for your summer placements, have a clear logical reasoning. Why is logical reasoning tested in CAT? Because this is something you have to follow all across your life. Like, you cannot give random answers. Maybe you have to coherently and chronologically put in your answers and give a rational thought behind it, that you are doing something because of this reason. You've been doing something till your life for this reason. So have that clear thought process and articulate yourself very, very well. It is very important to articulate yourself correctly when you're sitting for interviews. So prepare yourself, sit in front of a mirror, talk to your friends. I mean, these are certain things which really help you develop that confidence to be able to speak in front of HRs and the people who are out there coming and recruiting you. Now, my next question comes that, we talked about choose the right role for yourself, choose the right company for yourself. So my next question is, how do you choose the right role? There might be many people in the audience who might be coming from a finance background, wanting to go into marketing, coming from an engineering background, wanting to go into marketing or finance, or coming from a BCom honors, wanting to go into, say, HR or marketing. So how does one pick a role which is suited to them? And how did you guys do it at IMI Delhi? And what are some of the dream companies across domains that come at IMI Delhi? I'm sure everyone is listening with their ears wide open. So yeah, over to you, Ipshita and Aashanaa. Then how do you choose the right role? What are some of the dream companies that come?
I think the first part of the question, I'm going to be very candid. I was clueless and I did not make a choice. I would sign up for companies. I would go to their websites. I would read about their work, and if I liked it, I applied. Because in the first, I think about 4 months, I really did not know what I wanted to do. I did not know which profile I am suited for, and all of that. So, in all honesty, I did not make a choice. I applied for the brands which I liked, and I think for some of those brands I even went till the interview and then got rejected or something. And in retrospect, I can tell you now that the difference between those random companies that I would apply to and Deloitte where I got placed is, in the interview process or in the previous 3 rounds of Deloitte, I had so much fun. I think that day, if I did not get selected, I would not be upset because I just had so much fun. It was as if those rounds were made for somebody like me. So I think in retrospect, I'm going to tell you all that the kind of work that excites you, or the
I'll just unmute this person. Yeah, go ahead.
So, thank you. So the kind of roles that excite you, the kind of culture that excites you, probably that is what you should flock towards. I mean, there are going to be people like Aashanaa or Aditya who are going to know what they want to do, and there will be people who will, like me, have no clue what you're suited for. So my only advice is, as and when time passes, you will know. As and when you take more subjects, you take on roles, you give interviews, you will know what you're suited for. Until then, just believe, and you will get there.
And I also believe we should tell them that getting rejected, whether not getting shortlisted or after going through an interview getting rejected, this is not just a part of MBA, this is the part of life. We all have to fall down and get back up stronger, prepare harder, and come back with an even more positive attitude, because that is something we all need in the current time and space, wherein we need to just keep getting up. After falling down, falling apart, just keep getting up is something I'd like to add to what Ipshita said. And I think she beautifully explained the whole thing. And Aashanaa, over to you. Anything you would like to add?
Sure, thanks, Unnati. So, I think this is the time when you actually leverage your bond with your seniors. So what my strategy was, I actually reached out to my seniors and I tried to understand what kind of a summer experience they had with their company. And when you start interacting with your seniors, you'll notice that there is a certain pattern that emerges out. You actually realize that there are few companies which provide you a much more fruitful experience in comparison to the others. And with academics also, when you, by the time you reach for your final placements, you start realizing that, some things interest you more in comparison to the other subjects that are present. And also in the 2 years, you get that understanding of what kind of an industry you want to be and what kind of a, choice you want to make for yourself in long term. So for me, I was sure again that I wanted to focus more on the role and the type of industry that I'm getting into, and which is why I had to really sit patiently, very patiently during my finals. And I made that conscious choice. I actually saw all of my classmates getting placed, and I used to just sit in my library and prepare for my finals. Made that conscious choice that even if I am the last person placed on the campus, I want something that I am actually satisfied with. And I think that's a gamble you guys should, I'll say should play, because it really pays you off well if you rush into, applying for the first company that comes up on the campus. There might be a much attractive offer the next company brings in. So, you have to be really patient and just trust yourself and trust the process. And like, Unnati spoke about rejection, actually, it's one of the best things that can happen to you. You actually go back, you understand what kind of a mistakes you're making, you actually revisit your entire interview, and you can always, keep on learning and keep on upgrading yourself. So I have actually seen people that, who were totally different in the first interview experience and have learned so much, and they were totally different in their, final placement interview. So accept rejection and learn from the rejection. That is the biggest thing.
Absolutely. And I think being very well prepared is also one of the most important things when we sit for summers. Like Aditya said, be well read on newspapers. Ipshita and Aashanaa said, be well read about your companies, about your roles, talk to seniors who've been into those roles. And just whether you fit in or you don't, and you have a logical reasoning behind sitting for that role when the HR asks you why this role or why this company, have clear cut answers. Don't give random answers. So, just doing this can get you through to your dream companies. And my last question regarding summer internships goes out to Ipshita. So, Ipshita, there is a notion amongst people who believe that people who have work experience of 1 year, 2 years, 2.5 years, they find it very difficult to get shortlisted in any company. So is that true? Since you have had a work experience before MBA of 2 years in IT, is it true? Did you face any problems getting shortlisted, or was it a smooth process for you as well?
See, for me, I personally believe this. I think my experience only helped me. So what you're talking about the experience becoming a hindrance, it sometimes does become a hindrance, but that's after you have finished like 3 or 3.5 years of work experience prior to your MBA. But as long as you have 1 year or 2 years, I think that is perfect. And even if you have more than 3 years, I think there are a lot of other things that you can offset that by. There will be roles that are specifically made for people who have more experience. So no, for me, it kind of worked in my favor. I had lots to talk about. I had my project experience, etc. to talk about. So for me, it worked. And if in case it doesn't work for you, then probably you have certifications or other options like case studies, competitions, and all of that.
Absolutely, Ipshita. So now my next question actually goes out around building profile. We're talking about people switching fields from finance to marketing, or engineering to marketing, or BCom honors to, marketing, or whatever, or to finance for that matter. So how do you build your profile as a fresher? Like freshers always have this very big pressure कि how do we build profile? हम क्या करें अलग दिखने के लिए MBA में आकर? So Aashna, any two cents that you might to give the freshers, that how do they build their profiles?
So, if you go ahead and have a look at my LinkedIn profile, I had zero profile prior to MBA. My entire profile is built out of the MBA experience that I have. And I was pursuing my CA, and the kind of, chartered accountancy curriculum, that is, you are quite busy with your tuitions, with your articleship. So never really thought of doing anything apart from studying. But the moment I stepped into IMI, I realized that, oh my God, I don't have a profile. How the hell am I going to get shortlisted? I literally had nothing. I just had my education qualifications and nothing else on my profile. And the fact that I have danced entire my life. So can't really put up that on a CV that you have been dancing since the age of 7 or 8, whatever. So these 2 years were the time that, I actually thought I had to make the best out of it. So for that, there are actually 4 verticals through which you can build your own profile. One is the academics. Again, like it or not, academics is a yardstick for the companies to measure how sincere you are with the kind of job of studying that you have been given with. So yes, a decent academic does, I think it's important. Second part is the case study competitions. Third part is the clubs and committees through which you get to interact and plan things. And fourth is the life projects. But personally, I think the kind of exposure case study competitions give you, it's unmatchable to other things. So that is something you guys should definitely try out. You actually go out and prove yourself that you are equally good. And apart from all this, all the activities and all the competitions, what I also did consciously was I did a few certification courses, which were the upcoming trends in the HR field. For example, HR analytics, workforce analytics. So these were the things which were just being touched upon in my curriculum. So to get a deeper understanding, I went ahead and, took a Udemy course or a Coursera course to build my profile.
And guys, when she says she took a course, she didn't just but glanced through it. She actually went through it. She studied it. So just अपने CV पे लिखने के लिए do not do courses. Do courses for your understanding, so that when you're sitting in that interview, you are using terms which others are not using. You are using examples which others are not using, and that's how you stand out. Not by writing, I did 10 courses from Udemy in your CV. That will never help you. But using those examples, bringing that to the table of interview, that is going to help you, my all. That is like, my dears, please understand that difference. So now my next question goes out to Akarsh actually. Akarsh, you were the secretary. Sorry. I got a misplaced. How do you build your profile from finance? My question to Aditya goes out. How do you build a profile that you have to pursue in finance? Aditya, over to you.
Yeah. So how to build a profile for finance is very general to other fields as well. Like, firstly, let's start with the CV portion of it. So be very mindful that CV is like a one-pager document which the recruiter is seeing, and he goes through 50 of them at once and then tries to select which one he wants to interview. So CV is your first point of contact with the recruiter. Be very mindful of what you are writing. Like, the first choice of words you should select. You should not over say like, I have done this and I've done that and I have done XYZ things. Be very mindful of what you are saying and how you want to articulate. Like Aashanaa said, like, you should be very mindful of like, what was your experience from the project. Like, if I am saying that I did this in this project, why you did that, what was the outcome, what was the goal you were trying to achieve. So be very mindful of how you want to present that, because it's just the story you're telling to the recruiter knows that you don't, by the time you will be there for summer placements, you will not have done a large amount of things. So it's just your experience and how you articulate it helps. Now, building a CV or profile for a finance job, I was part of a club. I had not done any competitions. I had not done any certifications. So the reason being, I did not find merit in doing those certifications apart from the knowledge I was getting from the college and apart from the studying which I was doing external to the college. Like, I had done my, I was pursuing CA, so I had knowledge from finance domain about what are the trends in the financial market. So that helped me a lot in building profile. So it's like, if you're sitting for that interview, the interviewer might ask you anything about your profile, about the CV, and about what is happening around the world. Like, I was asked a lot about the Indian politics at that point of time, but that was one of my interests. So it was just where you want to drive that part of the interview lies upon you, based on your CV, based on whatever you tell. So the first question is from the recruiter. The next set of questions is how you answer the first question. So, and the recruiter will ask you the very basics questions. So be very thorough about it, but don't over-rehearse it. So I have seen a lot of my friends, they have mugged it up like, why do you want to apply for this company? And they have took out good words from most available platforms and they have started to curate their answer. So it's not that you can curate your answer. It's just your experience and how you feel about that company and how you articulate. It will differ from different companies you're sitting for. So you cannot have a one-stop shop like, I want to join finance domain and that is why I want to do this. You have to say like, how do I fit for this? These type of things, if you start thinking on those lines, that helps a lot. But yes, going to Aashanaa's point, the competitions, the extra courses you do, for example, CFA, many people were doing CFA at my time. It is an added advantage, no doubt about that. So of course, these things help, but it is not that if you have done a lot of certifications and you're not able to articulate, doesn't help your cause. So it's a balance between both.
Exactly, Aditya. It has to be a balance. You have to know what certifications you're doing. You have to know what's inside it. But likhne se kuch nahi hota on the CV is the point that I think you're also trying to drive. So just knowing the matter, having a logical, coherent, logical reasoning is very, very important for any question that you answer. So I'm glad that you reiterated that, Aditya. Now, Akash, I have one of the very exciting questions from you. FMCG is one of the most coveted career paths of someone who comes into sales and marketing in MBA. How did you go about building your profile for FMCG and ended up getting selected at Perfetti? And people are worried that Perfetti only considers non-tech people and freshers for marketing. How true is it?
Okay, so I did not build my profile in any way. There's a common expression of interest that goes out to every student. I filled that up. I got shortlisted. There was an interview process that happened, and I was the only one on campus selected for that. Uh, what went on in the interview, like Aditya and Aashanaa have captured, this just by putting everything up on the CV, it doesn't help. You lead the recruiter to your questions, right? So whatever you say, you lead. Next question comes out of the essay. You say, "I love football," or you just happen to have the same interest as the recruiter. There's a large possibility the discussion might go there, right? Uh, like Aditya said, he did not have any template ready. However, I had a template ready of FAQs. The first question across every interview was, tell us about yourself, right? And everybody says, I am so and so. I did my BCom, BTech from so and so. I have so much work experience, and that's that. You know. So, idea is to build up a note where you can speak for at least 2 to 3 minutes non-stop about yourself. Bring in your hobbies, bring in the extracurriculars that you have done. Talk about you as a person. You love to travel. You're a foodie or you're an extroverted person. Get all those qualities up on the table, and that will differentiate you from everybody else who have a pretty stereotypical answer to these questions. So just sit down, put down points on a paper, and make a 2 to 3 minute note and speak. Speak. Look at yourself in the mirror and speak. You should be in a situation where those top 10 FAQs. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Why should we select you? Why finance? Why marketing? Why this company? These 5, 6 questions. Uh, you should be in a position where, and it should not, like Aditya rightly said, it should not be mocked up. It should come in a flow. So just keep these FAQ. It will be very helpful in sharpening your answers versus everybody else who goes with a open mind to give these answers. So that's nothing that I did special with the profile, but that's how I prepared for the interview, right? And when talking about my journey with Perfetti, so I'm not sure if everybody knows Perfetti Van Mel. Perfetti Van Mel is a company that makes confectionery, which is Center Fresh, Center Fruit, Happy Dent, Alpenlibe. I'm sure a lot of us would have had these chewing gums and candies. So I got a PPO with them. Summer internship, guys, it is your first taste of your corporate world, right? What you do there, right? Everything, believe me, just preempt everything. You are being asked to do a certain task, preempt what the next task is going to be, right? Stay one step ahead, because believe me, like you, there are a lot of people from a lot of other B schools vying for that one single PPO spot. That everybody wants it, right? Not just from IMI Delhi, but from across India, everybody wants that spot. So just you have to be one step ahead of everybody else. You preempt. If this is the task being given to you, take one step ahead, finish something else also, right? Learn as much as you can, and just be very, very thorough with your basics. FMCG as a category is very coveted at B schools, but there's a lot of fear attached to it. Say for example, FMCG sales. There's a lot of traveling involved. I will have to go to rural parts of the country. I will be made to sell. Those are a lot of frequent myths that we have about the FMCG sector as such. But believe me, it humbles you as a person. It really teaches you a lot. We have grown up in urban centers, lived a decent life, and suddenly when you go to these rural centers and see how things are, it really humbles you as a person. And an FMCG is the only sector, if not the only, one of the very few sectors where you join as a management trainee or after you get placed, where you get a direct managerial role. A lot of other companies, say consulting, say what do you say any analyst role in finance. These are all individual contributor roles. But when you talk about FMCG, you join as a manager. You are a people's manager. There are people reporting into you. How you answer them, how you look after them, their appraisals, everything is in your hand. And believe me, that is really overwhelming. Right out of B school, you've been put in that spot, right? So you learn on the job. It's a great learning curve. It teaches you a lot. It's overwhelming at first, but you learn a lot in the process of being an FMCG. So it's a great field to be in. Feel free to reach out to me in case of any queries about any fears around it, but it's a great field to be in.
Absolutely, Akash. I feel that a lot of people are very misled about what sales actually means in FMCG, and everyone's running after, like marketing roles and etc. But yes, we should definitely have an understanding from our seniors who've been into those roles and understand where we fit in and how we can contribute to those roles, and we can be great assets going ahead to the company also, and they can recognize that when we have that drive in us to be able to do sales. And I'm sure there are many out here who realize that they're made for sales, once they get into that role and they'll start enjoying it. Now we've got some questions regarding certifications. I mean, I saw Arvind Neely's question, and I'm seeing a lot of other questions also. So I'm gonna move to the next set of questions on certifications. So Aditya, first, I think I'd like you to answer this. What are the certifications that people should do in finance? Because a lot of people are asking CFA question. The general question we have in MBA. Everybody wants to know whether they should have a CFA. And secondly, many people have been going through certifications on Udemy and Coursera to upskill themselves. So you think it is really required at this stage where they need to have all of these certifications being completed?
Okay, so I saw a lot of questions, so I can answer those as well. Firstly, I'll start with CFA, which is like the most concerned.
Stereotypical question for every finance student. मैं CFA करूँ. So please बता दो.
Which is not wrong on their part. Most of us was in that dilemma. I chose not, but many of my peers chose, and both of us are doing exactly fine throughout the 2 years of college and post that as well. So it's just a personal choice whether you see value in that course or not. So it's like Ipshita said, that you have to see where do you find value. If you find value in CFA course, may as well do it. It's not that you cannot manage it with your studies. Like I have seen people who applied, like who would be sitting for exams, like your batch in December will be appearing for L2 in June by the time you're doing your summer placements, summer internships, and would be sitting for the L3 and will be completing the CFA by the time we leave the college. So I have seen people do that. Of course, it requires extra effort. There is no two ways on that. But is it something which is doable if you're passionate? Of course, yes. And that is not the only way you can start a career in finance. It's just one of the ways you can start. There are multiple ways, like regarding certifications. So again, you should be very mindful, like why do you want to do that certification? Is it just to add, I have done this certification, like my CV is just half page. I want to make it 1 page. Let's do 10 certifications tonight. By the time I have to submit my CV, I have 10 certifications. Is that why you want to do it? Or is it something which you can talk about in the interview? Is it something like a company is coming and you can say, like, I have done this during my during my certification. I learned this and I want to know more about this, and hence I want to join this company. A very valid answer to a question, why do you want to join a company? So you have to see where do you want to, like, why do you want to do certain things regarding personality traits. So now most of the companies apart from looking at technical expertise, is also looking for personality fitment. Like you have to see, do your personality fit the roles or fit the personality traits of the company. I have been on the recruitment side for Goldman Sachs as well. So I know that the initial rounds are more based on your domain knowledge, your like how do you want to, like why do you want to join this and everything. But beyond that, the basic selection comes like, is this personality alike to what we have in the team? Is it a fit for us? Is it something adding value? Like, is that person very inquisitive and that adds value to the team we have? So it's more of personality after a point. And believe me, regarding summer internships, final placements is just a step to your corporate world. I know during 2 years, you will all be concerned about where do you end up. This is my job. This is where I want to see. I have seen people start off with not so great opportunities. They have done excellent in those opportunities and have now started to take up jobs which someone who got job on the day one might not be able to get. So I got job on day one, but something which I will not be able to get. It's just, where do you want to see yourself? How do you want to achieve that goal? It's not that if you don't get a good job out of college, it's the end of the world. It's just the first step out of multiple steps you will be taking where you can switch. If you have the passion and if you have the right attitude, you can end up anywhere you want. It's just, you have to know where you want to see yourself going forward. So certifications help, CFA help, but it's not end of the world. Be very mindful, like it should add value. Like don't do a certification which will already be done during college just because you have free time right now. Do something which is out and beyond. Like someone asked regarding digital, like finance and digital, or like how do you require tools or something? Like many people, many of my colleagues are doing tab. It's not that it's required for their job. It's something which might help them, or it's something which is very interesting for them to learn. So it's not that you have to just be mindful, oh, I want this jobs require this, let's do that. Do different experience. Like the world is changing. You don't know after 5 years what type of job opportunities will be there. So just do what you feel and you're passionate about. Like Ipshita said, being passionate is the most important thing, and the rest, everything will be taken care of. It's a big journey. It's a long journey. Take the steps and you will reach wherever you want to if you have the right attitude.
Absolutely. I think very well answered, Aditya. So Aashanaa, I have a question from you, that if there are any HR related certifications that people can do.
Sure, Unnati. Actually, I would like to take a step back and give a very answer to the general crowd here. That mediums like Coursera and Udemy are not just there to upskill yourself. It is also there to reskill yourself. So if you feel, for example, something like an Excel that we commonly use in our, day-to-day life, in our work life, is something that you feel you are not so good at it, go ahead, nominate yourself for a course and complete it and learn it. You will get practice sets. Just try to learn from it. Reskill yourself. The entire point and the entire purpose of such learning platforms is, not only to add value additions, but again, the fact that whatever is present in your CV, you can actually substantiate it. You can prove yourself that I have not only done this, but I'm actually really good at it also. Like Aditya have been saying that, everything, every certificate that is present in your CV, you should be able to go ahead and tell the recruiter that this is why I have done it and this is how good am I at it. So talking generally about how you can choose your courses from platforms like Coursera or Udemy, just realize or see the kind of trends that are coming in the industry. So talking about the HR industry, I saw personally that analytics is coming inside the industry in a very fast manner, and there was no clear clarity of how we can use analytics in the HR domain. So I went ahead, I did courses for people analytics, workforce analytics, and accordingly, the trends you identify and try to match it up with the course that is available. So that would be my advice for you guys.
Absolutely. I think everyone should follow that advice for any field, be it finance, marketing, HR, or any other general management. Now, guys, I think we have to really talk to them about, say, the life projects, because I mean that is something they all feel that can help them build their profile. And I saw some questions also relating to life projects. So Ipshita, how important are life projects or winter internships?
See, life projects are they are basically they are opportunities where you can apply what you're learning in your MBA journey even before you are applying them in a job. And so, not just in terms of how it looks on your CV, it is very important to you in just terms of applying the concepts that you're learning. I was reading a question here on how to get life projects. So there are two ways. Your placement committee will actually give you life project opportunities throughout the year. Like, I have known people who had lost their summer internship and they did not get a second, they didn't get a very good second opportunity. So they took up a life project along with their summer internship, and even that works. So you'll actually have the opportunity to go for life projects throughout the year. And both your placement committee and you can also apply outside as well. So after I finished my SIP, I had applied to a company called Dimension NXG. They were making virtual reality. They were working around that. So, and I'm very passionate about technology like that. So I applied and I got through. And so whereas I applied through an outside organization, and I applied through Dare to Compete. Now, this is a site that you must know about. It has a lot of opportunities. Dare to Compete. It has most of your competitions. It has your case study challenges. It has these live project opportunities, and sometimes also placements. So this is one place that you'll find a lot of live projects. And apart from that, like you have your SIP and your final placements, which are brought to you by your placement committee, they will also be they'll also be offering you a lot of live project opportunities for which you can sign up and give an interview and go ahead and get them. So it's something that adds value. I think especially for freshers, to go out there and show a recruiter that you don't have like a huge experience, but you've still been able to apply your concepts in live corporate projects. Life projects are the way to go.
Absolutely, absolutely, Ipshita. So, another thing that we need to tell them about are the clubs and committees, which will very soon be coming in the, through their way, and they'll be hearing about all the clubs and committees. The processes to get selected in those clubs and committees will start. And I think we should preempt their questions and their anxieties relating to that. And Akarsh, my first question goes to you. You were the secretary of the BMR club. How did it help you build your profile, or how did it help you build your CV?
Okay, so the BMR club is basically the branding and media relations club. What that does is you are the face of the college, be it interacting with incoming students, answering all their queries across different online platforms, conducting virtual offline meets, and helping them ease their nerves, to designing posters and flyers and banners for all the events that happen on campus, to interacting with media houses, the ones like Business World and all of these media houses that come and take interviews in college. I remember as a part of BMR, I also got a chance to go to NDTV and Times Now, and there was a panel where we were also a part of. So you get these opportunities. What they really help in doing is help you meet more people. Therefore, you're thrown in more uncertain situations where the questions being thrown at you are unknown, and the way you handle them will just increase your self-confidence, right? So being a part of these clubs and committees really helps in building your morale, building your self-confidence, and when you sit in front of another new person who is a recruiter now, you are in a much better position to answer those questions mentally, right? So it definitely is a talking point in your interview conversations. But yeah, it's a great learning, guys. So if you get a chance to be a part of a club and committee, it'll only help your personality.
Absolutely. So, Aashanaa, my next question goes out to you. Actually, you were in the HR batch and you chose to be in the marketing club. So, why exactly you did that and how it happened? Can you please tell us?
So, like Akarsh mentioned that the entire club and committee does helps you to build up your personality, and all the points that Akash has mentioned, it absolutely stands true. But I would just like to add one more point. One of the things that club and committee teaches you is time management. Managing the entire activity of the club, your academics, and your other priorities also. So that is something you learn very quickly if you are in a club and you are doing multiple things at a time. So naturally, the entire inclination was to join a club. And why marketing club? It was, I'll give you two reasons basically. First reason was that, I had this thought in my mind that I already have finance knowledge. I am doing HR. Why not put my hands in marketing also and try something? Ki kuch kya pata acha lag jaye. So I just went ahead. I got the chance to experience marketing world little bit with the kind of things that the marketing club was doing. We came out with brand buffet, which was like a summary of all what was happening around marketing in the marketing world. There was marketing shorts, which explained, different terminologies of marketing. So yes, I did gain knowledge from it. But the second reason was, what's an MBA life without parties? So I did not wanted to miss out on any of the parties. So I decided that, I am definitely going to join a club. But jokes apart, your clubs and committees definitely do help you build up your personality and definitely is a talking point for your CV.
Definitely, Ashna. But I think I'd like to ask Aditya my next question. What if someone doesn't want to join those clubs and committees? And is there a lot of peer pressure or someone can manage equally well without being in a club and committee? So Aditya, what's your take on this?
So I can tell you a brief experience. So I was part of the club for about 6 or 7 months, and then I was not part of the club. So I have seen both parts of the world, so I can tell you. Definitely, like Akarsh, Ashna said, that it's a good point of learning. Definitely, yes. But is it the end of the world? No. There are multiple things on the campus where you can lay your hands on. It's just what are your preferences? Firstly, there will be a lot of FOMO that if my friend is joining a club and he is going out, he's working, he's getting good amount of work, he's calling up people and everything, but I'm not doing it. So it's a big FOMO, and that is why most of the people apply for the club. And that is not the right reason. Like, the right reason for applying a club is that if you feel passionate, like Aashna was saying, that she felt passionate about marketing and trying to see what marketing lays for her, that is why you join a club. What are the other ways where you can spend your time on and add value to your CV? Certifications is one. So I was also part of a white paper research with one of my faculty members. Not many colleges are known for that, but in IMI, a lot of faculty. So you don't have to reach out to faculties. Faculties might also reach out to you, that if you're passionate about something, why not collaborate with your faculties, discuss with them, deliberate with them, throw in your ideas of a research paper you can do, of a project you can start, of any idea. Like, if you find any idea which is credible, reach out to your seniors, reach out to faculty members. So it's a very cohesive environment where your faculty members are not school teachers where you cannot meet them. There's a staff room where they sit. Those type of things are not there. It's just personal rooms. You can just knock in and just shoot in your idea to faculty members. I was also part of a live project with a company called Aditya. That was a great learning experience for me. So they literally wanted to do a scope analysis of some lending, which they were thinking of starting, like a certain segment into lending. So it gave me marketing related thing. It gave me sales knowledge. It gave me finance knowledge. So you have to see what are the things which you're passionate about, what opportunities lies there. And you can join like multiple things. I was part of different type of projects. Like, I started some, like, one thing which I and few of my friends did was they started taking part on those expos. Like, there is a startup expo, there is manufacturing expo, there is different type of expos. And especially for Delhi people, like when you are back in Delhi, a lot of international expos happen there. You can go in there and it's a vast learning opportunity for you. You can just go in, you are a student guy, so no one will ask you questions. No one will give you, okay, are you interested in our product or something? They will just tell you what they are doing, and which will help you understand what are the things going on in market. Different ways. Another fine example I want to give you, which should be the last example. One of my friends, he was not part of any club, so you call them NCC. He was not part of a club. He was very passionate about digital marketing. So he completed a course in digital marketing. He was more passionate. So he started reaching out to companies. So he started creating a website, started doing digital marketing on his own. He reached out to companies, and actually a very good company gave out a live opportunity to him, just seeing on the digital marketing experience and seeing his passion for digital marketing. And he actually started working for that company while being in college. So it, like, different ways you can explore. It's just where you want to do it.
Absolutely, Aditya. Like, I mean, if I share my personal example, I was in PlaceCom in the first year, and that was also a wonderful experience, understanding how PlaceCom works, and being put in that high pressure situation where you have to ensure that you're meeting out your responsibilities. Cut to my second year, I was NCC, no clubs and committees, how we are fondly called across the campus, and I loved that because I could focus on participating in competitions, internal, external, and I could participate in doing a lot of outside activity like live internships. I did one with Pidilite, and it was a very beautiful experience for me working with Pidilite. So I believe that we can do a lot of things both in a committee, outside of a committee. It's just that we have to decide where our preferences lie. Then my last question goes out to Aashanaa, and post that we will open the floor for questions from the students itself. So Aashanaa, you have won and reached national final in about in many competitions, and you finished with podiums in about 10 competitions. So a podium finish, guys, means coming first or the runners up in any competition, and Aashanaa has done that for multiple competitions. So how important are case study competitions in your MBA journey? Please tell us.
So I am a true ardent stand follower of the fact that you guys should try out a case study competition. To help you understand better, my reasons were, firstly, the initial attraction of a case study competition was that I would get to travel, all over India, and I would get to experience the campus and the life and meet out new people, network basically. One of the major reasons why anybody does an MBA, networking. But the first competition that I did, I got the chance to present my idea in front of equally talented crowd, which is coming out from Narsi Munji, SCMHRD, and Bangalore, and multiple various institutes. And I actually emerged out as the winner in that competition. That, I think, enhanced my confidence to another level, because it made me realize that I am equally good. Even my ideas is something that can be actually doable in the real world. So, if you talk about case study competitions, it is a wonderful platform for you. It opens up a different world for you. You get the chance to compete with different talent from all over India and prove that you are equally good. And these competitions actually help you become more confident, which again in terms helps you in your placement, and they help you also understand things how practically are solved, and they open up a different world of perspectives, because you are out there sitting and listening to someone, maybe from a Narsi Munji Institute, who's talking about a completely different perspective, a perspective you would have never thought about. So you get into that problem solving skills, and you start seeing things differently, and it's like a very huge learning process. And at the same time, you get a chance to interact with a lot of people. You become best of friends with somebody from a different college. Even in your own college, when you're sitting and you're interacting with a team about how we can build up on a case, for another competition is going to be somebody else. So I would suggest that you all good should go out and try at least one competition. If you succeed, if you like the factor about it, then try for multiples. If you don't, it's okay, just leave it. But keep trying for the competitions. Again, such competitions also help you earn, bag a PPI or a PPO. For example, I won the data analytics competition by SmartCube. SmartCube is a startup in the data analytics field, and they offered us a PPI. So that was something that was, like an additional security blanket that you have during the times of placement, that at least I have for sure one company in which I can interview. So that really boosts up your morale. And again, the kind of competitions I took, it was not just limited to HR. I also went ahead and took for marketing, for finance also. Sometimes things worked out, sometimes things doesn't work out, but you always learn. So I will suggest that you guys should definitely try out for some competitions.
Definitely participating in a few really builds our character in terms of how resilient we can be and how time we can manage while doing multiple things. And definitely it opens up our broad horizons regarding a lot of issues that come up in our fields, be it finance, marketing, HR. So guys, now I open the floor for questions. What I'll request from everyone is that you guys can unmute yourself and you can turn on your videos and ask the questions to the panelists, to your esteemed alums who so far told you everything from their MBA journey. And my God, they've been so good. Had I had these alums telling me something when I joined MBA, I would have been so thankful. So I'm going to thank them on your behalf. And I expect you guys to turn on your videos and turn on your mics, and you can go ahead and unmute yourself and ask them questions directly and build a bond with them, because this is what will always come in healthy. Build network. This is very important. MBA needs to teach you how to build a network, and this is the first step towards you. And NavKiran is giving you that opportunity, so we are very proud. So guys, go ahead. You can unmute yourself and ask your questions to your alums.
I have a question for Ipshita.
Okay, so give your name and then you can give your question.
Okay, my name is Vidisha Goswami, and I wanted to ask that it is usually said that jobs for consulting are best obtained from the top IIMs. So getting a job of consulting from IMI, what is the difference there really, and does that really matter in the future?
So I'll give an example. So when I joined Deloitte for my SIP, because I had a consulting profile, so we would work in teams. So in my team, there was one person from XIMB, one from TAPME, one from IMI, and one from IMV. So the company itself chose 4 people from different backgrounds to be in the same team and work on the same technology. So there is some kind of a notion that some colleges are better than others, but believe me, when you actually go out into corporates do not treat you as an IMite or an IIM person or an NMIMS person. They treat you for who you are, what you bring to the table, the proactiveness you show, and the way that you can engage with them, and the way you can take that company's vision forward. This is for SIP. As far as final placements are concerned, from this Monday, I've joined Deloitte USI after getting a PPO. So there are so many people who've got a PPO, and for example, I have a project, and there are so many people who've gotten from, say, an IIM Raipur, and they don't have projects yet. So maybe somewhere my network that I built during the SIP helped me more. So while there is a notion that bigger brands, whether they are colleges or companies, they help you, believe me, it is really what you are bringing to the table, and companies for at least do not differentiate between people from different colleges.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I hope that answers your question.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so anybody else would like to unmute?
I'm Ritika Jandan here. So I want to ask Aditya sir that how was his journey to Goldman?
Firstly, you can avoid the sir. So we are all yes, I might be some of you. So yeah, my journey to Goldman. So like I said before, I got placed on the first day. Like I was the first guy to be placed. I got placed in Tata, which is into retirement. It is into retirement space. So it is basically managing the retirement funds of different corporate houses across India. So it is mostly into fixed income space. I was very passionate to learn about the global fixed income space, and that is why I started applying for different jobs. Goldman was at that point of time hiring for a fixed income analyst, and that opportunity again sounded something which was fun to me. I applied for that. So during Darashaw, just to give you a brief, guys, I had 2 days of interviews of 8 rounds. So that was gruesome. Like 2 days you are sitting for interviews, going back, wearing suits and everything, then going back. So it is a good experience. In Goldman as well, I had 8 rounds of interviews, very extensive. But yes, they were looking for someone who was not only interested in fixed income, was also very passionate to learn different things. And that is how I landed up in Goldman. But it's not that you have to do something exceptionally different to land up in job in Goldman. It's just the same process. It's just where you interest.
Absolutely, Aditya. So I hope Ritika, Aditya has answered your question.
Yeah.
Okay. So, guys, anybody else would like to ask their questions? If there's a follow-up question, you're free to ask. Don't worry, these are your alums, yeah. We used to like bug our alums so much. I have bugged these 4 people so much in the past 2 days, and they've been so patient and kind with me. Then they will be with you for sure. So yeah, anybody else, feel free to ask them questions.
Hello.
Yes, Ayush, go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, thank you for sharing your experience with us. And my question is that, as you guys said, that first few months are very important in terms of bonding and in terms of participating in different activities, clubs and committees. So what are your thoughts on doing MBA virtually? Because right now we will not be able to go at campus this year. So is it possible to get the same experience which you guys got off campus for us?
Ayush, I think since I've seen both offline and online, I'd kind of be an okay person to answer this. When you are in a virtual MBA, your communication does become a hindrance. Like everything that you want to do, you'll have to give like say 20% more effort. So if you want to bond with a senior, you'll have to give a little more effort in reaching out to that senior, because you can't chill in the amphi anymore and you certainly can't party. So that's that, I mean, in spite of virtual MBA, we've had our clubs and committee selections. We've had brilliant people. We've chosen the secretaries for the next year. So, as they say in business, there is business as usual. Yes, there is an increased effort to overcome the hindrance that this online mode is perpetrating on all of us. But with a little more effort and a little more with a little more focus, I think you can enjoy just as well. And imagine, you people will actually be joining virtual jobs. So for you to have an online MBA is all the more important.
Okay.
So yeah.
By doing virtually, it is easy or difficult to approach any faculty or to bond with any senior? Is it difficult in virtual?
No, I think so. What happens is, even in virtual, if you send a mail to any faculty, or if you just send any faculty a WhatsApp text, they will reply to you and they will help you set up a call time. So maybe the only thing that's not going to happen is to walk into their rooms in the campus. But then, you can always reach out to them via WhatsApp or email or whatever. And especially IMI faculty, starting from projects to placements to just chatting with you, they will be up for a talk anytime.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so who's going to go next? Because I have a very interesting question to end on. So who's going to go next?
Hello, can I?
Yeah, go Deval.
So, hi everyone, I'm Deval Agrawal, and as I was listening to most of the alums, they pretty much had it cleared what specialization they wanted to take in future and what not to. But for a student like me, who has an engineering background and who has not been exposed to much of marketing or finance, so is it a blunder not to know what majors and minors to take in future, or eventually I'll figure it out?
I think again, I'm sorry for talking so much. So when I entered IMI, I actually entered in the BFS course, and over time I kind of moved on to PGDM. I had initially thought I will take up finance because I didn't know any better, and then I somehow realized that I don't quite like finance. And I think I started discovering that I enjoy my marketing classes. And right now, if you speak to any of my friends, they will tell you that they had never thought of me as anybody else apart from having a marketing major. So once you start taking up subjects, you are going to understand. I think by the end of your first year, or maybe soon after your SIP, you are going to know which subject suits you and which profile suits you. So it doesn't matter, even there's even this factor that which subjects do you perform better in, which case studies do you like more. There are all these factors and you will figure it out. It's no problem.
And it is a gradual process, they will. It's not going to happen in one day for anyone. It hasn't happened for any of us in one day. We've had to figure it out. We try to take different subjects, and as Ipshita rightly mentioned, do case studies and your summer internship. All of these factors will come together and give you the answer of what you want to do. So give it time, try and enjoy the process. Don't be in a rush, and definitely you will get your answers, and you will be happy that seniors, alums, and your peers, they'll all be there to help you out, whether virtually or physically. So do not worry.
Unnati, I would like to add on a
Yes,
bit.
please.
A general candidate, an engineer, and a male. This is the most common profile across MBA colleges. So you are not, in a place where, you'll find everybody like you. Believe me, a lot of people are confused when they start off. A lot of us were there, but like I think Aashanaa pointed out very clearly, she knew what not to do, right? Believe me, with the course, as the course goes on, you'll realize what you do not like much more than you realize. Oh, this is what I like. So, you'll figure it out. It's a process. Enjoy it. And one small thing, a lot of people in my batch I saw, they saw what companies are coming. Therefore, these are the electives and this is the subjects I will major in or minor in. Do not do that, please.
Do not do that, guys.
Okay, do not do that, please. Okay, oh, this company is coming. Oh, highest package. Oh, I think this is what I will major in and this is what I'm at. No, please don't do that. Okay, so just stick to your interests, stick to your likes, and believe me, everybody will do well, guys. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Thank you for the inputs.
And
Thank
guys,
you so
just a
much.
piece of advice for everyone that see MBA is also about matrimony. So do not forget that, you also have to think about the girlfriends and the boyfriends you'll be making on campus. So थोड़ा उनके बारे में भी सोचना है, electives ऐसे ही मत ले लेना कि ये करना है वो करना है. So enjoy the process, follow your crushes यार into their electives, क्या मजा है उसके बिना. So keep doing all of that. Anybody else who would like to ask a question? 2 more questions we'll be taking, so try your luck, guys.
Hi, I'm Sriram, and my question is for Aditya. So I'm an engineer, and is it difficult for an engineer to get into investment banks like I said, Goldman Sachs or JP Morgan, or if what should be the process for an engineer to get into an investment bank?
Firstly, it's just that people's perception that engineers cannot go to investment banks. I am working in Goldman Sachs, and believe me, on the floor I am sitting on, there will be around 50 to 60% who are engineers, and there will be some people who are into ops, who are into marketing, who are into like so-called finance. But like, it's not a very demarcated line that you are doing ops or you're doing marketing or you're doing finance. It's like a mix of everything. So I will be working based on, like, I will be using tools, I will be using different types of platforms doing my day-to-day job. So it's a mix of everything rather than going into tech or going into the financial part of it. It's not difficult at all. And going about how to crack for the interviews. So of course, when you are applying as a technical person rather than a finance-based person for a job in investment banking, you will be asked certain different questions. Of course, your financial domain knowledge will help, but it will be your technical expertise. Like if they are working on, let's say, Java, for example, and you are applying and you have done Java. So they will ask questions on Java to you. What is your understanding on Java? Do you understand the Java and how finance will be intermingled with it? So it's just based on the role. It will not be, oh, if you are from a tech background and you're doing finance, so it's a wrong match. It's not the case usually.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Sriram, for your question. So, Riya Bedi, I'll quickly like you to ask your question. I think you have an interesting question. Riya Bedi, can we have you on screen?
Hi, everyone. So basically, my question is, what is the scope of operations management at IMI? Because I have been listening a lot about finance and marketing, but nothing about operations. And do really good companies come at the campus during placement?
So Akarsh, Ipshita, any of you, if you could answer this question.
I think in the recent years, to be very, very candid, there are not as many ops roles as are in marketing or finance. And please do not quote me on this. But yeah, at the same time, if you get into general management roles, like for example, consulting, once you get into the company, there are a lot of supply chain management projects. Like currently, though I have a marketing and finance background, I have been put into supply chain management consulting. So that way, if you're looking for that job role, yes, there are many, but operations companies, maybe not as much as marketing or finance, but yeah, there are a couple, and it keeps switching every couple of years.
Okay. And Akash, were you adding?
Just to add on, there are a few very good companies that come for operations. I think BMW still comes for operations, right? And they hire a lot of people for operations. I remember Mercedes-Benz also was on campus. I'm not sure if they still come, but these are the kind of hardcore operations companies that come, and I still have friends who are working there. They are core factory operation roles, guys. So there are roles and pure operations. So believe me, any role you get into, which is a general management role, has a lot of operations involved, right? So while I have also mastered in marketing, majored in marketing, but there's a lot of operations involved in my day role as well. So no matter which role you eventually get into, operations is going to be a large part of your role, right? So, when you look for a core operations role, yes, there are companies that come in. We talk about operations being a part of your role. Yes, definitely. Every job, every company that you get into will have an operations role.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely agree to your point. So anyone would like to go in for the last question, and post this, we'll have a group picture, guys, as we are all sitting together in a room, and this will be your memory meeting and connecting with your alums for the first time. It will be a memory for the alums and definitely for NavKiran. So we'd like to take a group picture with you all. Before we do that, we'd quickly like one last question. One person, guys, take your chances. Yeah, ask your questions. I can see so many unaddressed questions in the chat. Always make the most of your opportunities. MBA सिर्फ यही सिखाने वाला है. जो opportunity है, make the most of it. So anyone, Harsh, Kaustav, Shreya, any of you, if you'd like to go ahead, please ask your question, and then we can quickly take a group photo.
I'm Kaustav. I have a question for Akarsh. So,
go ahead, Kaustav.
Yes, Akash. So, like you mentioned, many of us come from GEM category. I come from an elite background where I'm GEM and a mechanical engineer as well. So this is hardcore for me, like all mechanical, CSC, civil, and there's a guy from electrical as well. So are we at a disadvantage? Because I have a friend who's actually in MBA right now in his first year. He tells me accounting and everything is so tough, and coming from a mechanical background, for me that's like alien theory and everything. I have no clue what accounting is about. So am I at a disadvantage, or it's going to be a neutral ground for everyone?
Okay, so believe me, you are not at a disadvantage, right? That is for sure. When it comes to say accounting, of course, if you teach a BCom guy IT, he will also not know anything. You teach an IT guy or a mechanical guy accounting, he will also take some time to understand, right? So that level of what do you call lifting your game will have to be there, right? And that will happen. It is bound to happen, because believe me, the faculty, the peer group, exams coming, believe me, everything, you will figure it out, right? I had friends who were in mechanical. Right now, they are in media. Okay, so that's the kind of switch they make, right? A lot of mechanical engineering students are a part of operations. A lot of mechanical engineering students are a part of finance, right? So I know a few people who are in sales. So don't worry what background you come from, guys. While he's asking a question from his particular background, a lot of you may have similar questions about your respective backgrounds. Once you're there, guys, everybody's on a level playing field. You might be a fashion designer. Oh, there's a dentist as well. So don't worry about what background you all come from. You're all on level playing ground once you're there.
Absolutely. See,
Just FYI, I'm an accounts guy and I did not top my class in accounts. I was among the bottom. All these engineers only did better. Okay.
And I'll tell you honestly something. There'll be times when so I was from BCom and I topped my accounts, and then cut to a situation was there when I was taking ops and all in my electives. I had operations and I had all of these other electives and I was lost. But again, in MBA you learn. सीख जाते हैं, जिंदगी जीना सीख जाएंगे. So do not worry, it will be a smooth ride, and trust me, you will only come back and tell us, I am topping my accounts. Aajkal I'm teaching the BCom guys accounts. Trust me, Kaustav, this can happen. Because it happens for most of the engineers. They become so good that all of us BComers, we go far behind and we're like, अरे यार ये लोग ने तो यहाँ पे भी top करना चालू कर दिया है. So do not worry, there is space for everyone in MBA. And guys, now I'll request you all to turn on your videos and unmute yourself, so that we can have like a feeling that we're all together in a room. And I really want all of us to one day be together and enjoy the session. So guys, did you enjoy the session? Just unmute yourself.
Yes.
Enjoy the session.
Yes,
Yes.
we did.
And
Yes, absolutely.
did you guys have fun interacting with your own alums who've taken out so much time for the past 2 days and today? Did you have fun with them? Did you build a bond with them?
Yeah, of course.
So go follow them on LinkedIn. You can follow them. You can follow all of us, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Sab theek hai, kar lo. You can follow any one of us. We'll always be there to, if you have any doubts, you can reach out. Yaar, guys, networking karo. Virtual world mein aur bhi zyada zaruri hai. So karo, reach out to anyone, follow anyone, and keep in touch, definitely. And guys, do you want NavKiran to bring more such sessions, more such programs to you guys?
Yes, please. We are anyway bored.
So guys, definitely. I'll give you an update that NavKiran is launching the NavKiran Gurukul program, wherein every student, every mentee gets a mentor, and how you can pass your MBA, how you can prepare for your interviews, how you can crack case competitions. So everything you'll have a mentor for assigned to you specifically, who you can connect with, and they can be your own alums, they can be from other B schools. So it will be a very good exposure that you guys will get. So if you want, you can join that NavKiran Gurukul program, and we will give out the details very, very soon. Follow NavKiran on social media and you'll know how to join NGP. And guys, now I'll take a group picture. So everybody, I think we should do this or something. I don't know what's the IMI lingo. What do you guys do? Alums, can you tell what we should do maybe, and we all can take a group picture?
So there's no lingo.
We say mic not working.
Okay, so
that's
now
the new thing. Mic is not working. I think
Ipshita has already
virtual...
taught you what you have to say in classes when the professor is asking you, mic not working, video not working, nothing working. So now you know Ipshita is teaching you all the right things today. So thanks for that. So guys, I think we can all do this and take a group picture for a good session that we all had. Thank you guys for joining this. I hope I've taken the group picture. So thank you all. It was great connecting with you all, seeing all these smiling faces. It's brilliant, guys. Keep smiling. MBA is a beautiful journey. It is tough, but then that's what, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. And trust me, you're all going to make the most of it. Enjoy it. Be connected. That's very important. Keep coming back to any one of us. They'll all be your alums. We at NavKiran will all be happy to answer your questions, and have a great, great year. Have a great journey in your MBA, and hopefully we all have a better year and start meeting more physically rather than virtually. So yeah, guys, thank you for joining us. Thank you, panel, for taking out the time. Akarsh, Aditya, Aashanaa, and Ipshita. We are very grateful for you all to be joining us today and giving us so many advice and so much of your time. So thank you for that on behalf of everyone. And thank you for the lovely audience. Thank you to you all for joining in, and see you soon. So bye, guys. Have a great evening.
Thank you for the wonderful session, Unnati.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for being a great host.
Thank you. That means a lot. Thank you, guys.